Okay, good afternoon. Next up is Mural Arts.
Good afternoon. My name is Jane Golden, and I'm the Executive Director of the City of Philadelphia Mural Arts Program. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. I am so grateful to Council President Clark, all of City Council, Mayor Kenny, the Managing Director Brian Abernathy, Deputy Managing Director Joanna Otero Cruz, and for the many city people who support, facilitate, and encourage our work. I also want to thank the people outside government who are here today to support Mural Arts, staff members, community partners, artists, and board members. Yay! Every year, I really look forward to the opportunity to testify before City Council for Mural Arts Class 100 and 200 allocations. And today, we are so excited to testify on behalf of our FY20 budget, for which the mayor has allocated $2,349,602 to the Mural Arts program. So why do I love this so much? Well, it is a chance for us to reflect on and share with you the scope and impact of the work we do all year long. We began 35 years ago with a love and respect for our city and a genuine curiosity about what makes our city tick. We continue to look for the issues that matter most. We seek out good ideas that are percolating not just here, but across the country. We scrutinize the pinch points and challenges that Philadelphians grapple with daily, and we ask ourselves, how can art help? So it comes as no surprise for all of us that love our city that this is a complex one. You can't help but feel the new energy and determination. It's palpable. But at the same time, we know there is another side to this story. As neighborhoods change dramatically and quickly, residents of many neighborhoods are questioning if their lives, as one of our community leaders said at a meeting recently, are being erased. Many individuals and communities cope daily with a range of complex problems. And yet, in spite of this, I am an optimist. I am inspired daily by the spirit and tenacity of the citizens across our city. In spite of odds, I see hope. In spite of multi-layered challenges, I feel a collective determination. Every day, I encounter love and faith, and because of the work we do, I cannot escape the tremendous hunger our city has for beauty and for art. It is so inspiring. And because of City Council's belief and investment in our work, we are able to uphold our core commitments that allows us to do this work. We're committed to art education for young people, so we can serve over 2,000 young people ranging in age from 11 to 18. We create opportunities for deepening community wellness through our Porch Light program. That's all about healing and economic recovery for our most vulnerable citizens. We want to deepen and broaden the impact of our work on citizens who are returning from prison. And you have made it possible for Philadelphia to be the envy of cities from all over the world with its vast public art collection, filled with images that look like the citizens who live in Philadelphia. Representation matters. And here are some of our statistics. In fiscal 18, we engaged 25,000 people in our public programs and more than 15,000 people in our public tours. We completed 83 public art projects, 20 mural restorations, and in FY19, we expect similar levels of engagement. And so far, we have completed 4 restorations and 40 public art projects are already completed. We've also cleaned 1,040 lots and removed 612 graffiti tags because we like to help our colleagues at CLIP. So here are a few highlights of our programs. Our Guild program. I love it. I love our Guild program. Our Guild program continues to provide justice-involved Philadelphians with a path to meaningful work and reintegration with the communities. Since 2009, this paid pre-apprenticeship program trains participants in useful skills that they put to work beautifying public spaces in our city. In every district of Philadelphia, projects large and small are happening because the Guild is there doing amazing, inspiring work. The program has enrolled over 1,000 participants, 1,000 since its beginning, and we are proud to report, and we're really, really proud of this, that the average one-year employment rate for graduates is 82%, and the recidivism rate is 12%. I could jump up and down here, compared with the statewide average of 35%. Let's have a round of applause for our Guild. It is successful. Yes. Like the city of Philadelphia itself, Mural Arts continues to be recognized nationally for our focus on finding innovative solutions to the issue of mass incarceration through our restorative justice program, where we work in prisons and with people coming home. This year, Mural Arts was once again selected by the Ford Foundation's Art for Justice Fund to continue supporting formerly incarcerated artists with a range of programs and public art projects. We have a fellowship program. We're going to be doing a public art exhibition, and we do this work in collaboration with the city's MacArthur Foundation's Safety and Justice Challenge. It helps us use art to shift the narrative around our criminal justice system, and it helps us draw attention to Philadelphia's groundbreaking work in making our city a more just and fair place for all. This year was no different in that it brought us new work that spans a range of themes, from tributes and testaments of fallen heroes, to depictions of local leaders, to beautiful landscapes and giant abstracts. Our city is alive, with color, with design, and stories. As a group, murals transform the ordinary into something alive and unexpected. They are the thread that weaves the experience of neighbors and viewers together. It's a collection that belongs to Philadelphians in a profound way. And so just this year, what are a few things that happened? Well, on Ridge Avenue at 29th and Ridge, buildings were transformed, and we did a very moving tribute to Sergeant Robert Wilson III, who passed away all too soon. A giant tribute mural of Philadelphia native and legendary CBS correspondent Ed Bradley came to life in the Belmont section of Philadelphia, and the students who worked on it were taken to the 60 Minutes studio, where they got to meet all the journalists. We worked with Trades for a Difference and did this beautiful mural in Germantown that lifts up the human spirit. On the Lucian Blackwell Library at 52nd and Market, there's a new mural that celebrates the connections between African cultures and Renaissance paintings, and it was created by Akira Jones with tons of kids in our program, and Akira Jones designed the costumes that were in the movie Black Panther. How exciting is that? I was so excited. I jumped up and down. On corridors in Southeast and Northeast Philadelphia, new immigrant communities merge language, image, and culture to create beautiful new works of art that are not just beautiful, but they're educational. 1 in 4 Oxford Circle neighbors is a first-generation resident, and up to 43% do not speak English. Weekly classes at our hub space offer critical life skills and health systems navigation and ESL in tandem with creative programming. Artist James Burns did a 9-story mural that's a tribute to veterans who are struggling with PTSD. In North Philadelphia, 2 great recreation center projects, the Dendy Rec Center that was a loving tribute to Marie Dendy. And at the Waterloo Rec Center, there's a new basketball court with a brilliant mural. It makes the heart sing and basketball players leap with joy. We're very proud of our mural about Octavius Catto, Remembering a Forgotten Hero, where we worked with artists, historians, and students and activists to pay tribute to someone who was so amazing. In Tacony, our artist residency lab continues to grow and thrive, and since 2018, 1,000 people have come and participated in art programs. And I have to add that this space is miles from any anchor arts institution. The bottom line is that every neighborhood wants murals and programs in the arts. We have a huge waiting list. We are in a city where citizens can ask for art, and that sets us apart from cities across the country and across the globe, and we are proud of this contract that we build between artists and communities. Our Porch Light program is one that we run in partnership with the city's Department of Behavioral Health and Disability Services. We love this work where we work with people who are struggling with trauma and mental health issues, addiction, homelessness. But I want to highlight our space at 2774 Kensington Avenue. It's 2 years old. It's our response to the opioid crisis and an opportunity to work with wonderful partners, Impact Services, Prevention Point, New Kensington CDC. I'm happy to report that while this space is only 2 years old, it is bustling from 9 in the morning to 6 at night every day with programs and people. More than 900 people a month are coming to this space, and they find their way there because they feel safe. There are skilled volunteers there. There's Mural Arts staff there. We're offering weaving, drawing, poetry. They're visiting nurses there from Drexel to offer support and guidance. There's resource information about how to get treatment, where to find a bed. Over and over again, we see that people are beginning to reclaim newfound agency and hope and starting to consider recovery. This year, I'm happy to say we've gotten a new grant where we'll be expanding our work and providing intensive services to veterans in Kensington struggling with PTSD and addiction. At Einstein Hospital, we work with people who have long-term mental health diagnoses, and we hear from the clinical staff over and over again how art helps open up people who are living in darkness. There is a transcendent power to art. And when you're involved in these programs, when you witness it, you cannot help but feel the light. It is challenging, and it is extraordinarily rewarding. And art education is really our longest running program. Here, we continue to bring project-based learning as well as color and joy into schools and provider agencies and residential placement facilities. Some of those facilities are so bleak. Thanks to our partnership with the Department of Human Services and private funders, we're able to reach more than 2,000 young people with intensive, ongoing, year-round programs that challenge young people, inspire them, let them know that they can have an idea and they can bring it to fruition, that they are our city's next generation of thought leaders. We see the glass half full. We see potential and talent everywhere, and we want pathways for our young people to succeed. Just an example is this fall, we were delighted by the work we do sometimes during the school day where we merge math, science, and art. Just go to South Philadelphia High School, stand in front of that school, and you're going to see molecules. You're going to see a mural that's about global climate change. It takes your breath away. Too many schools in Philly look like prisons, and we say change that, and art can do just that. It's exciting. I could just jump up and down, but I won't. I'll just keep going. And mural restorations. We have this amazing collection of over 4,000 works of art that graces the sides of buildings throughout Philly. And so we lose murals. We lose murals to development sometimes. So what are we going to do? We're going to restore them. We're going to recreate them. We're going to take care of our collection in this city. And every time we do that, we're greeted with relief and gratitude and support for our commitment to the neighborhoods we invest in. We are determined, I'm going to underline that 5 times, to maintain these civic assets that grace the sides of buildings that tell the stories of Philadelphians in our city, where neighborhoods can change so fast. A mural, a work of public art, can be the one thing that is left that reminds people of who we are. We need to protect that investment in our citizens' collective history and memory. I know I have told you that we are known nationally and internationally as the city of murals, but there's evidence of that. 15,000 people coming on the tour program. In this last year, 287 million press impressions and intensive consultations with cities across the country who want to know how we're doing it in Philly. When people hear Philadelphia these days, they think of public art. Yes, and we have a lot coming up. I could go on and on, but one thing I want to say is that there's this really exciting project coming up, and it's going to continue our groundbreaking work of putting art to work on behalf of community wellness and on behalf of those who are some of our most vulnerable citizens. We're going to launch an innovative same-day pay program with our partners at the Department of Behavioral Health, SEPTA, and the Mental Health Partnerships Program. Building on the successful experience of other cities who offer this kind of work, we're going to do it, but put our unique spin to it because other cities have people cleaning up litter, and we're going to have people creating public art. We're going to have a storefront classroom in the concourse. We're going to be creating beautiful murals in the concourse. We're going to make sure that there are access to social services and wraparound services, and we're going to create low barrier employment for individuals experiencing economic insecurity. I'm really excited about this, and it starts April 22nd. In closing, it is your investment that makes this work possible. I want to be really clear about that. Your investment allows us to leverage every dollar, and so that we're able to raise money from individuals and foundations and corporations. The city money is our foundation. And by investing in us, you are truly investing in the future of our city. You have allowed us to grow from a small city agency into an internationally respected leader that merges art and social impact, drawing interest from every corner of the globe. Your investment in Mural Arts is an investment in our citizens. It's an investment in aspiration and an investment in inspiration, and it signals an extraordinary belief that there is vast potential for all that is good and resilient and hopeful, and that we can appeal to our better angels. That venture is also returned to the city in the form of wages we pay to a diverse pool of largely Philadelphia-based artists who are awesome and wonderful and inspiring. $1.7 million in FY18 alone. Helping to maintain our city is a place that grows, attracts, and retains working artists, and all they contribute to life in our city. They are change agents. Thank you, all the artists who are here today. Finally, I want to say that we talk a lot about the challenges we face in this city. But I ask you all, as you think about solutions and ideas and interventions, please remember that we can never discount the role of art and creativity to make a difference in the lives of people in our city. Traditional interventions are going to fail us from time to time. We need to consistently think out of the box and embrace the arts as a strategy for social change. As we always say at Mural Arts, art ignites change. I see it every day. It's what drives us to keep moving forward, and it is truly an honor and privilege to do this job. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Congratulations, Jane.
Thank you.
Congratulations for all the work that you do every day. Congratulations on the Ford Foundation Award. That's the second time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And yes, we are the envy of cities across the country. I pride myself on reminding people that Philadelphia has more public art than any other city in the country. And I want to say thank you for three things. One, for recognizing you have an organization that looks like Philadelphia.
That's right. Thank you.
It's not hard. And number two, you heard my request 15 years ago when I asked for a list of artists to discover that we did not have a lot of local artists on that list. So now we have more local artists being given the opportunity to express their craft, as well as men and women. And so it should never go unrecognized that you listen to the concerns raised by members, and then you find a way to think outside of the box to make it happen. So that needs to be acknowledged, that you're indeed a partner when it comes to helping us have a government that looks like Philadelphia, okay?
Thank you.
You've mentioned a number of constituencies. Councilman Derek Green would be curious to know if you might be doing any work with the autism community.
No, but we really want to. We would love to, actually. So if there are ideas, we did a big project some years back that was very successful. We did a mural, we did classes, and we did created with young people a beautiful book. Oh,
okay.
It's so lovely. So we would be completely open to it.
Okay, I'll certainly pass that on to him. Yes, yes, yes. Councilwoman Bass?
Sorry, point of information.
Please.
Jane probably doesn't realize, but she did do a project in my district around
wow.
autism at the Worcester Playground with
wow.
Willis.
Oh my God, we did.
Yeah, yes, we did do a project around a playground that was centered for children with autism.
There you go.
And we had a beautiful mural that was painted with particular colors that would be sensitive to those with autism, along with playground equipment that was sensitive to those with autism.
That was a beautiful project, that's right. I know what happened to the grid in my head. I let you down, Councilwoman Bass. It was a wonderful project.
You do so much. You do so much.
You really do. You really do. We are fans. Indeed, we are. And so, Councilwoman Bass, any other questions?
Yes,
you're up.
Well, you know what? Well, I just wanted to say a couple of things. The first is that it's not really a surprise that I'm a huge fan of Jane Golden and all of the work that you do. I just think that you all do a tremendous job. I love the work and also the ability to make your dollar stretch.
Yes.
You know, particularly with city money and government money, I'm always, you know, thoughtful about how dollars are spent and making sure that there is, you know, no waste. And, you know, there's some departments that are better at it than others. I think that Mural Arts is the best at making sure that there is no waste in our city dollars and that we actually, you know, as a city, that we get our money's worth. So I just really want to thank you for that. And I also want to thank you for exposing me to the restorative justice program. I know that myself, Councilman Heenan actually also joined me up at Graterford, and I know we're due to take another trip soon, although it's not Graterford anymore, it's the new Phoenix. Yeah. And so, you know, it's funny, I've known what Graterford was all my life, but it's funny, a lot of people don't know what Graterford was, you know, a state correctional facility. And when I went, though, you know, it's one thing about knowing about it, but it's a whole other thing when you have gone and seen rows and rows and rows, cell blocks upon cell blocks, you know, hundreds and hundreds of men, mostly African American and Hispanic, who are incarcerated, and it is really jarring and requires you to rethink everything, all the work that you do and the importance of that work. And so I really thank you for exposing me to that, and I want to take this as an opportunity to invite any and all of my colleagues for the next trip, because it's so very important that folks go and to see for themselves. Don't take my word for it, but you really have to see the work that she's doing and the impact that they are having. And there was a young man who actually did a portrait of myself just from a picture on a palm card, and he sent me the picture. Bobby didn't get one. I'm sorry, Bobby. Councilman Heenan didn't get one. But he sent it to me, and then I saw him recently at the Wall Ball. Russell, I believe his name was.
That's right.
And, you know, just doing fabulous, fabulous work here in the city and making sure that that talent does not go to waste, that we are, you know, beautifying our communities at the same time. And so I just had a couple of really small questions for you for Mural Arts.
Thank you.
And two questions. One is, can you tell us what role you're expecting to play in Rebuild? And also, how much money can you guesstimate? How much money does Mural Arts save the city of Philadelphia in terms of lowering the recidivism rate through the restorative justice program? Because that's a money saver right there. When you're making sure that that folks are not going back through the criminal justice system, that is saving a lot of money to the city of Philadelphia, and we need to make sure that we invest where the savings are. So can you talk about those two things?
Yeah, we think that it's actually an immense savings. I mean, we are, the Guild program, I'm really tempted to have my colleague, DeJuan Williams, come up and say a few words, if you don't mind.
Come on.
So, but I want to say, we feel that it's a very robust and wonderful program led by DeJuan Williams. If you could just say a few minutes about it. And then
Welcome. State your name for the record and welcome.
My name is DeJuan Williams. Hi, Mom. If she's watching on one of the cameras, thank you, Council, for allowing me to speak. The young brothers in the program, can y'all stand up? Everybody in the Mural Arts program? Everybody in the program, all the participants, stand up. These are the brothers and sisters who benefit from the money that is allocated. These are the brothers and the sisters that I'm with every single day, Councilwoman, that says, Brother DeJuan, I want out the street. I want out. I want it over with.
That's right.
They want to do right. And with the money that's allocated to us, We're able to go into those rec centers, paint those rec centers. We're able to put murals up on the wall. We're able to build benches and raised beds and community gardens in the schools. We're able to, what else we able to do, y'all?
Clean
Everything.
lots.
Wages, money in their pocket. Okay, when you're talking about providing jobs and programs and opportunity, this is who you're talking about. This is who you're talking about keeping out the streets. These are the people right here that benefit from everything that goes on in this room. Thank y'all all so much. Councilman Heenan, Councilwoman Blackwell, Councilwoman Jen, Councilwoman Dom. I have to give you a special sorry, everybody. What you do for the schools is tremendous. To step outside of your official capacity and do something about it. It says everything. It goes to your character, because anybody could stand to the side and say, oh, that's crazy. Oh, the schools is failing. It's so much violence in the neighborhood, and not do something. But Councilman Dom actually did something. And it's just like with the guys that I work with every day. It's nothing to say, hey, everybody's shooting each other. Everybody's robbing, stealing, and killing. But that's just crazy. No, we're not doing that. We're being proactive, and I'm leading by example. They see every day a brother, myself. I did 10 years, 6 days, 12 hours, 37 minutes, and 13 seconds straight at Graterford Prison. Oh, wow. And I was with Russell Craig that day when he snuck to the auditorium to see you, Ms. Bass, and he almost risked a misconduct for that. So I just want to appreciate everybody in here, Councilwoman Bass, Councilman Johnson, all the work that y'all do outside of the chambers when you're not even on as an official city council person. The things that you're doing, the boots on the ground, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And just let the record reflect. I know I don't have much time. You give us $25 million of some of those millions of dollars people up here asking for, and I'm gonna make sure these young brothers, we talking about changing gun violence overnight. Thank y'all.
Thank you. I want to say, we think that we're saving the city $136,000, but that's probably modest. When you think about how much it costs to have someone at the Phoenix prison versus what Mural Arts is spending, and we're spending about $11,000 a participant, and that's parenting classes, financial literacy, it's jobs, it's the wages, it's great projects, all kinds of opportunities around leadership. So there is definitely a cost savings, but by our calculation, it's $136,874 a year. But I think it's actually more than that. To go back to your other question about rebuild, I actually, quite honestly, would love to work with rebuild, but there's nothing. We don't have anything planned. But we keep hope alive, because I think it's great. I think it's a great initiative, and I just think maybe we're just out of sequence, that there are other things happening right now.
So as Steve Harvey would say, stop right there.
Oh, so, yes.
Can you repeat for both Councilwoman Bass and I what I think we heard?
We're not involved in rebuild.
So you are not involved with any of the rebuild of rec centers, libraries?
No, we've made presentations to project users with the hope that they will work with the Mural Arts program at some point.
Councilwoman Bass?
I think that's unacceptable. I think that there should be a role for Mural Arts in this huge initiative that we have happening in the city. It's a $500 million program. And there must be a role for Mural Arts in that program. There must be a role for Mural Arts. So we'll be having the commissioner come up shortly, Parks and Rec commissioner, and I'm not sure if rebuild is on the agenda for today. Okay, so, but we can certainly have those conversations. I think it's a must, absolutely.
So it would be exciting. I mean, we've worked with Park and Rec for 30 years and have a great relationship with them. So, and it's a wonderful initiative.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just thinking maybe it's just an oversight. Maybe it's just an oversight. So we'll get it corrected.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Councilwoman Gim?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you very much, Jane, and to your whole team for being here. You've done tremendous work over the years. You know, Monument Lab meant the world to me, and to so many other people. It's been great to get to know so many of the artists who participated in projects all around the city. And you have done such transformative work with communities and people, and I just, first of all, want to express, along with everybody else, just tremendous gratitude for you, your entire team, and everything that you're doing right now. So I wanted to ask whether Mural Arts had made a request to the administration for any budgetary increases for this year.
Yes, we had asked for $685,000.
Okay.
And we were granted out of that, I believe it's some close to 300,000, or 350 is the
245. Does that sound right?
Well, it's actually it was 350, but then we had it's sort of complicated, but it's somewhere between 265 and 350.
And were there specific initiatives within the 685 that you had wanted to focus in on?
Yes, the Guild is number one, because I really feel that when you see success, it's really imperative to try to think about scale. And we're seeing success. And the next category is our work, wanting to invest in our work in Kensington, and then our work around restoration. And I want to just highlight community murals, because we're in a city where people are asking for art all across the city, and that's organizations, agencies. So every project we do also has a programmatic component, so people are so interested. It's a waiting list of around 2,000 people.
And how has your relationship been with the School District of Philadelphia, and could you talk about it like over a period of time, like at its peak? Would you say that there was a point where you were doing a lot more work with the school district, and what does it look like today? Yeah, I would say that at its, when Paul Vallis was there, I forget those years, we had a contract with the district to provide 20 schools a year with public art and with 16-week programs. And we also created something called the Diego Rivera Institute for kids in the summer. And that went on for 3 years. And then when he left, the contract was canceled. And so we were very determined. So we leveraged funds from DHS, so our public dollars are leveraged with private dollars. And so that's how we're serving, and DHS is critical to this, so the 2,000 young people. So we're in many schools, but we're working school to school instead of we're not really working sort of with the district. I think it's just how we picked up the pieces, because it was a devastating blow back then, but we were like, we're not going to be stopped by this, and we're going to continue, because we absolutely are driven to provide kids with services. So that's what we did. Okay. And do you know how much money that roughly was back then?
It was a contract of $350,000 a year.
For 20 schools?
For 20 schools. And that included public art, the programs, and the Diego Rivera Institute.
And right now, obviously, we're 15 years past that, so it'd certainly be more than that, I assume, were you to ever do it again. But it's worth having a dialogue with the district about how that's...
Oh, it would be great. We would love
evolve.
It. Yes, yeah, again, it
right.
would be wonderful to think about taking our work more to scale, especially the work, I mean, we do work after school and in the summer, but I think we're onto something, the work we do during the school day, the integration of both humanities and the arts, and then math, science, and art.
Yeah. And you and I have spoken about both of our work in terms of restorative justice programs, and I've been really grateful to see how successful your work is done, including like seeing that 76% of participants reach gainful employment after 6 months of being in the programs, that you hire local artists, of course, and that we have a chance to really do something important here in the city that's different from going to the lowest, effort possible. But could you talk a little bit more about, one of the things that we were discussing a little bit is that there's so many different reentry programs, and that, it's important for us to assess how the outcomes of the programs work. So could you talk a little bit more about what you're seeing with the outcomes of your restorative justice programs, especially with returning citizens?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm very heartened to see our recidivism rate is so low. And I think that there's something in this equation that it's, I think, I know our participants can speak about this eloquently, so I hope I do justice to your experience, but I feel it's learning and then going out and transforming civic spaces in the city. So so over and over, I hear people in the guild say to me, you know, I'm involved in this project, and people are treating me with respect, with dignity, thanking me. You know, we're like heroes in the neighborhood. And yes, it means a lot when rec centers that are gray become really beautiful, or a wall that has been just an eyesore is suddenly transformed into something that's really striking. I mean, historically, public art has been made by a lone practitioner. It's been a pretty, you know, exclusive way of working for hundreds of years. And so this is a real paradigm shift that people in this room are reclaiming public space, transforming it, making it beautiful, learning skills, and then getting the support to move on with their life. So I think it's all those things. So I think that's really exciting, and that's what drives us to want to increase the budget so we can serve more people, because it's important.
Well, I'd love to hear from somebody who has been part of your reentry work and restorative justice work. So if you want to bring somebody up who might want to speak to that. No, it's great. Part of this is about hearing from participants in programs so we understand the breadth of it better. As I said, we have a lot of opportunity. The city is reorienting, we hope, its prisons budget, its city budget, away from incarceration, back towards rehabilitation, health, and healing. We've done a lot of work on it for juveniles in the justice system. I'd love to, you know, if you have a chance to talk a little bit about young people, especially like young people in residential placement. You know, we want to be very thoughtful about that, but I really do want to hear about, as we discuss how well reentry programs work, why you think Mural Arts reentry program might be, what distinguishes it from others, and what makes it successful.
What distinguishes the Mural Arts Guild program from other programs, what makes it successful, what makes it better than others, is the fact that you have a person on the forefront who's been directly impacted. You have the young brothers with people. My partner Rick is here. Raise your hand, Rick. You have individuals running the program who speak the language of the people, meaning, although it might sound like a good idea to go up the street to University of Penn or go ahead to Temple University and hire some big name, you know, fresh out of college reentry coordinator or whatever, but when you have individuals that's from the same streets that they're from, Councilwoman, that's been down the same road that they've been down, it makes your program all the more better. So for myself, individually, I'm not afraid of them, okay? And a lot of what goes on in our city is the reason why the resources are not being offered is because most people claim to be afraid of them. They won't even say good morning. They won't even say, hey, what church do you go to? You know, they won't even say, hey, what are you doing Saturday? You know, my church is having a bus ride. They won't even do that. So for us, we're going in, we're unafraid, we understand the work, we live in these neighborhoods. We lived in these neighborhoods when these neighborhoods were way rougher than they are today, Councilwoman. So respectfully, to answer your question, it is because it all goes to, like what Councilwoman said earlier, it all goes to your leadership. Your leadership, it goes from the top. And I don't mean to toot my own horn, but beep, beep.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Next question.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Blackwell.
Thank you very much. I always mention that I've known Jane since the beginning, since she started out with Tim Spencer. I remember when I met her so many years ago, and she's made us so proud over the years. We are proud to be #1, and everybody's mentioned her work with ex-offenders, and not only those who are ex-offenders, those who are still incarcerated. We're grateful for that. She does things like we had Prince Philip in Mantua dealing with murals, you believe it or not. She works with Tiberino Museum in Mantua in my area and has allowed them to do work in our city, even on the side of MSB, and just the schools and the summer programs and the after-school programs, and works with seniors and camps and rec centers, you name it. Jane's always tuned in to where the community is, where the neighborhoods are, and what's happening at that time. And that takes a skill to be able to keep up with what's happening now.
Thank you.
I thank you. I thank the young man with you and all of those from your program who are here. And we're proud to support your increase. We want you to have the money you need so that you can continue to make a difference and the quality of life in our city for so many people across the board, and we thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. That means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Councilwoman. The chair recognizes Councilman Dom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon. I'll echo my colleagues that you're all doing a great job, so thank you. And I just had a couple questions I wanted to ask. This past year, I guess 2018, how many returning citizens in total numbers were involved in mural arts?
I'm going to actually, Grace Cannon, could you come up? Just want to make sure my numbers are right.
Hi, I'm Grace Cannon, Mural Arts, Director of Restorative Justice. We serve, typically we're not concluded this fiscal year yet, we serve anywhere from 60 participants, 15 participants in 3 youth violence reduction program cohorts, and an additional 12 in our Philadelphia Department of Prisons cohort. We usually have about, total served, meaning engaged in the program, is about 80 people during the year, and then with our completion rate, we're serving about 60 people that go to completion in a 4-month cohort with the Guild, meaning they graduate from the Guild and move on to a job placement.
And then the people that are moving on to job placements, can you give me an idea what types of jobs they're obtaining?
Yes, I can. We are doing a couple things. We have a host of employers we work with that are typically entry-level positions, the Guild as well. We consider an entry-level position. They are a Mural Arts employee. We work with Comcast Spectacor, Garces, Vetri Restaurants, Northeast Building Projects, Products Newman Paper Company, Whole Foods ShopRite, Baker Industries, Wash Cycle, Reading Terminal Market, to name a few. In addition, we're trying very hard to think about deeper career pathways. We have the ability, when we have resources, to place our youth partners in the Trades for a Difference program. They seem to understand our population. They work very intensely with them and then do targeted placement with them in building trades and unions when appropriate. We're working with the Philadelphia Horticultural Society Land Care Program. We also have participants that are very successful there and get targeted placement in that industry. We have a wonderful job developer where we're looking for what I'm calling tier 2 partners to do that very targeted career pathways placement, and we think that'll make our work richer, and we feel like we're a great sort of work readiness, work-based learning foundation for that next level partner.
And so do you think the program, how many more people could you accommodate in the program who are returning citizens?
How many more? I think that is a twofold question. The more cohorts we add, we like to keep the cohorts to 20 to 15. We think that's the best size for one Guild coordinator to be working with a group. Once we start adding cohorts at this point, we would need a second Guild coordinator, and we need to think about our space. We are looking with partners that Jane has about additional space for our Guild.
I think if we had the funding and could build some capacity, that we could think about another doubling the size. But it would take some capacity because we like the individualized attention. And so we would adhere to that, but I think it's very possible that we could double in size. And with this Ford Foundation grant, we have a little bit of funding for a space, and our goal is to create a restorative justice hub. So the Guild finally has a home. The Recreation Department has been great, and they've been very kind to host us, but we go from place to place, and we really need a home base. So that's what we're looking for right now.
How do people get into the program? Are they informed while they're up on State Road or after they get, when is this, walk me through that process.
They are coming home typically with our young people. We have 3 cohorts that are 18 to 24-year-olds from the Youth Violence Reduction Partnership Program. Those are referrals directly from Office of Violence Prevention. We work intensely with that office. They know us well. They know from their group who might be very successful with us. So that's a really good, rich partnership. With Philadelphia Department of Prisons cohort, we have one of those cohorts a year. We're actually working with Commissioner Carney and the various, whichever prison we are working with for those referrals.
Well, are you working with them while they're on State Road or once they get out?
We have historically worked with them on State Road. This particular year, the past year, and I'll look to Jane, we didn't have funding to do the work in State Road, so we were more receiving as a reentry program. Would we love to get back to working in State Road and do that transition? Yes, but that funding is a very limited pool, and we were asked there to focus it on reentry.
And yes, and that's been the same for a few years. We used to work intensively there, and then we had a much smaller cohort of people coming home. The prison asked us to, the jails asked us to change that, to work more with people coming home. So we're on a mission to try to raise some private money so we can start working at Riverside, because we used to have a great program up there. So it would be our goal eventually to go back and serve people who are behind the walls and also with people coming home. I think both is very important, and I can see with our work at Phoenix, once Graterford, how important that work is and what it means to people. And some people who were at Graterford have actually come home, and they speak eloquently about the impact the program had on their lives.
I mean, because I think one of the goals we need to accomplish is when people come out, that they hit the ground running.
Yes.
And so it's like a pre-entry program. Mm-hmm. So we could go into the prisons before they're released and help them get acquainted with whatever jobs that we want them to be acquainted with, whether it's mural arts or whatever. It's better to do it pre-entry than after they come out, because once they come out, they're by themselves. We need to give them those tools while they're there so they can come out and be successful. Mm-hmm. So I would support if you came back to this body with whatever funding you needed. I mean, look at it this way. We have right now 4,600 people on State Road. Mm-hmm. I think the budget's still $380 million. You can do the math and divide it, but it's over $82,000 to $84,000 per. It was $45,000 4 years ago. $84,000. There's money there for these types of programs. They have to be reallocated. Mm-hmm. So I would suggest, and this is a perfect program for reallocation, I would suggest you come back to us with that. Thank you very much, and thank you for everything you're doing, and everyone who's here from Mural Arts is doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman. And hello, Jane Golden.
Hello.
You know, there isn't anybody in the city of Philadelphia who has the enthusiasm and the, I think the willingness to revitalize and the commitment to engage and stop recidivism and putting people to work than you in the city of Philadelphia. And I want to congratulate you and your staff for
I work with wonderful people. Thank you very much. That means a lot.
For igniting change, right? Because art is igniting change, and you're doing it with the Mural Arts program. And I think that your commitment to the city, to the people, and to the art community as it grows is top class, and it reaches and is in line with the mayor's pillars of commitment in the city of Philadelphia, and I think that's where the finance department and our city budget is looking to support, and I hope they continue to support you to get to the goals and the programs that you need. All right, so we can have young gentlemen like us, all right, who is definitely passionate, committed, and is a part of the actual change that's going on in our city of Philadelphia. So you're doing a great job, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you can, well, let me start by, and I want to hear from you. So one of the things that in my district, when I'm talking about my district specific, you know, who would have thought that there would be arts in Northeast Philadelphia, all right? We have, together, we have brought arts to Northeast Philadelphia, and I'm going to start by explaining a little bit, but I really would like to, I'll mention it, but I'd like to get your feedback on how that change has happened and to see the steps, all right, that have we taken and the amount of people that we've touched and some of the things that are just like groundbreaking, when it comes to arts and culture in Northeast Philadelphia, and in specific, the Mural Arts Program. So a few years ago, the Tacony Library was going under a complete renovation, and we're extremely thankful to the city and the finance department and the library for choosing Tacony to be one of its early 21st century library models. A 2-year project. So a 2-year project, I realized that the community was going to be without a library service. So I started asking questions. Okay, so we don't have a service. What happens to a lot of the good public servants that we have that are in whatever capacity, librarians and programs? Why should a community not have that? Can we think about what services on a smaller scale that we can continue while we transform this historic building into a 21st century library? And it's through our efforts and regular kind of partnership that I have with Mural Arts that we came up with a model that was complicated, all right, but yet it was a model I believe that could be shined upon, throughout every district in the city of Philadelphia. So we took a commercial quarter, double store vacant property that has been vacant for 3 years. Now, this is a commercial quarter. We're already investing resources. We're already trying to attract more walkable and friendly neighborhood folks and attractions, trying to market our commercial quarters, revitalize them, working with the Commerce Department, have all these safe cam programs and incentives for people. So we took a double vacant storefront on a commercial quarter and came up with a concept of a shared space with the library and Mural Arts. And the Mural Arts part of the shared space was an artisan residence program, which I went across city, asked permission from my fellow council colleagues to come in their district and take a look at what's been going on across the city for best practices, what works, what doesn't work, and how can we utilize that that kind of experience in a shared workspace with our free library in the city of Philadelphia. And I have to tell you, I couldn't be more prouder, all right, of the commitment that Mural Arts had, the partnership with our free library, and making sure that our citizens still had a service and they have additional programs in a vacant building that had crime and some uncleanliness that is on that part of our commercial quarter. Totally cleaned it up. Well, I wouldn't say totally, all right, but we even worked towards a parklet, all right, that we were able to build with our artisan residents. And I just want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for thinking outside the box with me in my office and the community members. This isn't just we may have thought about it, right, on looking for opportunities. And I always come from the philosophy and live my life on be available for the opportunity, all right? Yeah. And you all were available for the opportunity. The space was available for the opportunity. The commitment was available for the opportunity, and the opportunity worked. It worked, and we have programs, robust programs over the last several years on a commercial quarter space in which now the library is up and running and is an incredible library. The librarian, the programs, the people that work there, the community that utilizes its 21st century design and opportunities for people it's just spectacular. All right, but the artisan residence has the entire space now, and I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you, Jane Golden. Thank you to your staff. Thank you to all the artisans. So how many people, all right, and kids and or residents and programs that come through the Tacony Lab? And by the way, for those who don't know what lab is, it was library and arts building. All right, now it's at the Tacony. It continues to be the Tacony Lab, but it's solely an arts building. It's an arts building in Tacony on a commercial quarter with programming 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Yeah, well, I think that the hub spaces we have around the city, there's one on Lancaster Avenue, one in Tacony, one in Deep South Philly, one in the Northeast, and one in Kensington. They're all reflective of the population we serve, and it allows us to embed ourselves in communities over long periods of time. The Tacony Lab has, since we opened, which is not that long ago, we've offered 76 classes. Over 1,000 people have come through the doors to participate in classes. And hundreds of people have participated because the Tacony Lab staff goes out to festivals and events and has art-making activities. So it's the same way we love working with Park and Rec. Any way we can embed ourselves in communities longer is a win for us because we get to know the neighborhood. In the case with the lab, it's part of a revitalization strategy. And people begin to really count on us. And let's face it, when you think about it, Philadelphia has wonderful cultural institutions in the city, but Philly is a huge city, and so many neighborhoods don't have access to those institutions. I wish I could wave a magic wand or win the lottery or something so we could be on Germantown Avenue, that we could be, on 52nd Street, that we could be on Ridge Avenue, to be there for long periods of time, because I feel that's what citizens deserve, that kind of programming that's alive and vital. And also with Tacony, now we're employing more local artists and teaching artists. And I was at an event last week, and an artist who did a residency there came up and she said, "I can't thank you enough because it's so hard to get work." And there I was able to do my work, and and I got such great feedback, and she practically started crying. So it's both supporting artists, supporting community, and supporting economic development. For me, it is just a multitasker, the hub spaces. And what I've seen in Tacony, the other thing is that it has turned on a light how people look at art and public art. For us to be standing in Mayfair on Saturday announcing that we're going to be doing 7 new murals, and for me to think about it, we could have tours, special tours at restaurants, and look at the public art. It was so exciting. It was palpable to see how much people are clamoring for art.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. And what I was going to say is that you never know who's watching, right? And people in our neighborhoods and our communities are looking for reasons and programs to come out and participate. More people that are participate, the more people that are walking our communities, the safer they are. All right, the more they look after each other, the more they get to know each other. All right, when you're painting,
That's right.
All right, with somebody, it's not just mural arts, all right, or murals. All right, there's pottery, there's design, there's all different kinds, a multitude of exposure to the arts, all right, and culture of just the mural arts programs. I mean, you can have paint by numbers, and they're always good to be painting with somebody. But when you're in a class and you're in a program and you're learning how to design art on a program for flags that are going to go in your neighborhood, and they're displayed proudly, right? You get to know your neighbor. You get to know who you are, and you're putting your input into what you want to see our neighborhood to be in the next 10 years, and without forgetting where it was in the previous 10 years.
That's right, and also the classes are multi-generational. So we have programs for toddlers and we have programs for seniors. We have knitting, sewing, crochet, photography, printmaking, drawing, painting, music, you name it. I mean, the mural making is just one small part of what's offered in the hub spaces around the city.
Exactly, and I wanted to, make sure that got onto the record. It's much more than murals, and murals obviously are the ones that get the larger attention, right? Because, and I want to talk about that in a second, but it is mural arts revitalize neighborhoods, period. All right, and it does ignite change, right? Because you're a part of a change, and it's a commitment to making change. And what the art hub in Tacony has displayed, and people observing and watching and participating, is it brought multiple communities together. Now,
That's great.
in Mayfair, all right, we had, as you had indicated or made a statement on, all right, it's our second Mayfair Arts Festival in Mayfair. We shut down the street. We had vendors out there. We had, well, first of all, we had great weather, right? Second of all, we had incredible people that were coming up there. The first year, you made the announcement that we are having a mural mile. That's right, a mural mile. We have identified and we have permission on walls in Mayfair, a mile of murals. Now, how we fund it all is yet to be, but we are halfway there with the community engagement put on. So every mural has community engagement. We just painted a mural, all right, that you had David Gwynn, all right, who is internationally recognized, and he's working for Mural Arts, internationally recognized artist.
From Philly.
From Philadelphia, Mayfair, Frankfurt and Cotman, painting by numbers, all right, at Mayfair Community Center. Over 100 people turned out to paint this thing, and even David was surprised with the amount of community engagement and input. And that's what we want to do. That's how we invest back into our neighborhoods. So we announced that we're going to have a mural mile in Mayfair. We have our second arts festival in Mayfair, in giving young entrepreneurs like Art History 101 for streetwear. All right, so, he recognized early on that there's lacking of the artist community, or maybe they were there and they just had nothing to go to. But, together in our partnerships, we gave people something to be proud of and to engage in. And Art History 101, displaying his streetwear. I mean, he is recognized in all the Philly teams and the celebrations. We had fashion show at Frankfurt and Cotman because of the Arts Festival and, the introduction to arts and culture up in Northeast Philadelphia, and it's because of Mural Arts. So I just want to say thank
I
you
appreciate
for
that.
And what kind of feedback have you been getting from the artist community when it comes to Mayfair and the growth and as a model?
Well, I've just had a lot of artists reaching out to us who just feel very grateful about the Ciccone Lab and are really interested in teaching classes there. And so we're eager to develop a longer-term strategy and how we can expand it, because I do think that there are many artists up there just longing for opportunities to connect.
And what is your Mural Arts total budget with all grants and?
Our total budget so the city provides us with 30% of the support, and our total budget.
Like 2.3 million or something?
Is about $10 million.
10 million?
Yes,
$10 million.
that's how much money, we have to raise a lot of money.
So you raise 70%.
Yes, we raise
of
70%
your
of our budget.
resources, and only 30% comes from the city.
That's correct. A little, 30, maybe 33%.
But you're all over the city of Philadelphia.
We are in every neighborhood of the city of Philadelphia.
Every
We are,
neighborhood in the
not
city
a
of
community goes unnoticed by Mural Arts. We're everywhere, and it's really exciting.
And I totally rely on you as a partner in several neighborhoods. So, I'm going to ask, every district council member of the city of Philadelphia to continue to push for, funding for Mural Arts.
Thank you.
Everybody wants a mural.
People
Nobody
do,
will
and
say
what
no
programs?
to a mural.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
But how do we fund it? Is it a priority? Is it not a priority? I'm going to encourage all of
Thank
the
you.
district
And we're
council
always
members.
leveraging, we're always matching city dollars and private dollars. We want to stretch a city dollar as far as it can go. We feel very cognizant that we are, even if you're employed by the Mural Arts advocates at Mural Arts, we all feel like public servants working on behalf of the city, and I'm very grateful for every dollar we get from the city.
It's not even a dollar for dollar match. I mean,
it's
a 70-30 match. I mean, you were an example of
It's 70, yes.
program-based budgeting with the city of Philadelphia. So I appreciate you being here, and look forward to continuing with our relationships And, you know, I'm sure, you know, if you're back in this body, you're going to continue to get the well-deserved accreditation for igniting change across the city. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
That's it.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
being done, we thank you all for your testimony, and we will now take a 10-minute recess. Thank you.